JBN, we keep you informed. Jamaica's Most Wanted, Episode 16. Christopher Dog Paw Linton. Let me say none of the episodes in this series is to glorify any of these criminals, but it's been used as an avenue to say to the young people, eventually crime doesn't pay. Most, if not all of these subjects died violently and at a young age. Christopher Linton, more popularly known as Dog Paw, was of dark complexion, slim build with thick bushy eyebrows, wide nostrils, and about 5 feet 9 inches tall. He headed the most wanted list by the police in November 2010 for several crimes committed within the St. Andrews Central Police Division, including murder. Linton was said to run the feared Dog Paw gang outside of the rural St. Andrew community of Tavern. According to Superintendent Derek Cowboy Knight, who headed the St. Andrew Central Police Division, Linton was a significant player in a number of murders committed in Augustown. Linton's weapon of choice was the AK-47. During this time, the police tried to apprehend Linton and sent messages for him to turn himself in, but he responded, "Won't have to get past my gun." On the morning of Tuesday, December 7, 2010, a reward of $250,000 was offered for any information, leading to the arrest and charge of 24-year-old Dog Paw. He was wanted in connection with several murders and shooting incidents in the often volatile Augustown community in Kingston 7. A relative in December of 2010 said Linton was desperate to turn himself in, but was fearful that he may be killed by the police. Him feared said them will kill him like what them do to him brother, because the police visit the community several times and tell various people that they want to kill him, the relative alleged. He is very scared, the relative added, in between tears during a telephone call. According to the relative, Linton's brother was killed while in police custody in 2001. "We need a word from the police that they won't kill him while on the way to the police station or while he's in custody," the relative added. The authorities in response released a statement that Linton has nothing to fear. Superintendent Knight said he wants Linton to come in and to allow the due process of law to take place. Knight said that no harm will come to Linton should he decide to surrender himself. The police, Knight said, will always act in a professional manner. Who is going to harm him if he does that? Knight questioned. If he wants to give himself up, he can do so with his attorney in the quickest possible time. Attorneys representing Linton can make contact with the police, and arrangements will be made for him to give himself up, said Superintendent Knight. The police alleged that Linton and several other men were involved in an incident where a team of police officers were fired on in Bedward Gardens, Augustown. A policeman was injured in the alleged shooting. Linton's relatives said his family members have found it difficult to convince pastors to turn him in because of the trouble Reverend Al Miller got himself in when he was caught with then Bedward Gardens fugitive Christopher Dodo in his car in June, following the police military operation to catch him. The soft-spoken Linton, whose name was said to evoke fear and trembling, spoke from his hideout 5 days after the police posted a reward of $250,000 for information leading to his capture, claimed he was being blamed for things he knew nothing about. He said the charges were trumped up and stemmed from a vendetta, the genesis of which he said he was unable to reveal. "The police are painting pictures about me, and this is not true."
Linton, what are some of the things that you'd want to be investigated? Lead us in some of the directions where we can look.
I'd love for investigators to investigate the situation in which they are saying collecting extortion in the areas like Puppy and all these places. And I'd like for the investigator to investigate into all the business owners and all the people that does business everywhere there. That's one. Second, I'd like investigators to investigate from Mr. Knight, who and when did we ever have an argument or a conversation? When did he ever send me a message and I sent it back? When? We have never. I want investigators to investigate all these things. They are calling my name, they have written in the paper on the internet and all over that police shooting and murder and all that. I want an investigator. I need them to investigate all these things, the main points that they're pointing out. Right? Because no, I don't have, first and foremost, I don't have money to pay a lawyer. They can't put him on the TV trying to discriminate and saying I've also collected in Papine Square and all of that. So I've never collected 500 Jamaican dollars from no one. No one in no business place. That's impossible. And they speak that on the TV and on the radio stations, trying to discriminate me and paint the ugliest picture of me. And that is impossible. There's no business. Right now, I think I need a personal investigator. Nothing. I need a personal investigator right now before considering to go in. We need all of this thing to be going on. We need for a go on. And we need it to start out before we consider going in. You understand me?
Linton, are you not fearful though that you may not have enough time for all of that to be carried out if you continue to remain on the outside?
Yeah, if I'm not fearful.
The police have launched a manhunt for you. While you want the investigation to be carried out, are you not fearful that they may get in touch with you before that investigation can be completed?
I am fearful. I'm very fearful. I'm very fearful. I think about it every day. It's not a matter of not fearful. I am.
How old are you?
I'm 24 years old, sir.
What is life like now on the run?
Life?
Yeah.
Well, it's very stressful. First of all, second of all, you get up every day and you think about parents, people you love, and kids, and you just think about people you love in your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't be around them, and you can't be there for them. So,
yeah.
It makes you want to drink.
Yeah.
It makes you want to smoke a weed or a cigar.
Yeah.
It just brings out frustration and everything.
Said the fairly well-spoken Linton. Everything that happens, everything that goes on around me, I am the one that gets blamed, he said. The 24-year-old also claimed that reports that he sent threats to the police and that he was involved in a recent attack on law enforcement officers in a shootout in Augustown, St. Andrew, were far from the truth. Reports that I have attacked the police are not true. I'm not a madman, Linton said. Listen to me, sir. You cannot put out attacks against the police, declared Linton in the interview. That is against the law, and I have no intention of going against the law, he insisted. With his voice breaking at times, he seemingly tried to suppress his anguish over the circumstances he had found himself in. Linton said he feared being killed if he turns himself over to the police. He also said that he needed a private investigator to speak to the people in the communities in which the police claimed he has committed serious crimes. I need someone to speak to the people. Ask them if I've committed any of the crimes that the police claim I did, said Linton. The alleged gangster claimed he had already done time behind bars between 2006 and 2008 on accusation of murder and was puzzled that he was being accused by the authorities of more crimes. The police have also intensified their island-wide manhunt for the alleged gangster, who is now counting the number of days he has been on the run. With apparent frustration hedging his voice, Linton said the fear of being killed and living in hiding have made him seriously depressed. That, however, did not stop him from expressing hope that he may see his 2 children grow up. He also said one of the reasons preventing him from turning over himself was his inability to afford a lawyer. I am broke. I don't have any income right now, but I'm seriously looking at that option, Linton said. He also spoke about his life on the run. It's very stressing also when you are unable to spend time around family, he said. I want to see my children grow up. I'm no criminal. One of those children he was said to have had with a very prominent corporate-era lawyer's daughter. They have to paint the ugliest picture of me, he said, and expressing fear of being killed by the police. I am fearful. I am very fearful. I think about it every day, he said, adding that his life as a fugitive was very stressful. You get up every day and think about your parents, the people that you love. You realize that you can't be around them, you can't be there for them, he lamented. On Sunday, December 19, 2010, Linton and his gang were accused of the murders and the burning of the bodies of a 6-year-old and the 2 adults in Alley 4 Bedward Gardens. 6-year-old primary school student Jaheem McKay, his mother, 31-year-old Diana Forbes, and his uncle, 50-year-old taxi operator Maurice Hilton, were murdered and their bodies burnt after dozens of heavily armed men, who police said were led by Jamaica's most wanted Christopher Dog Paw Linton, invaded the Bedward Gardens community in Augustown, St. Andrew. The group of about 30 to 40 men then engaged the police, who were quick on the scene. pinning them down for more than half an hour in a fierce gun battle before escaping through a riverbed upon the arrival of police reinforcement. Residents described the sound of gunshots and the screams from a man who was injured as hell. A woman who lives close by said the shooting was so intense that she thought her house was being fired upon. Linton was named along with 5 other men in connection with the early morning horror. 2 of the men were reportedly held hours after the attack that drew condemnation from Member of Parliament Joseph Hibbert, in whose East Rural St. Andrew constituency the mayhem was unleashed. According to a police report, the incident occurred at about 1:30 a.m. when thugs, armed with high-powered weapons and handguns, attacked the hapless victims as they slept in a house in the Alley 4 area. After the killings, the men then firebombed the house, burning the bodies of the deceased persons beyond recognition, according to the police and family members. The 5-room wood and concrete house was totally flattened, except for a portion of the concrete section. 1 man was injured in the incident and hospitalized in serious condition. The police say a large quantity of 7.62 spent shells used in SLRs were found at the scene. On January 24, 2011, Linton was apprehended during a massive police military operation in the St. Andrew communities of Kintyre and Ellison Flats. From about 11 a.m., a large detachment of police and Jamaica Defence Force soldiers swarmed the tightly knit impoverished community, where they conducted a meticulous search for several hours before they apprehended Linton in a house in the company of 2 women. Moments before his arrest, Linton contacted the Observer by cellular phone and expressed fear for his life. "I am afraid they are about to catch me. I am afraid they may murder me," said a nervous-sounding Linton, his voice trembling as he spoke in a hushed tone from his hiding place. "I want my lawyer to come and get me." His family members also contacted the Observer and expressed fear, but at the end said that they were happy he was not harmed. "He called me and told me just minutes before he was held that he loved me and that he was afraid he would not make it out alive," a girlfriend of the fugitive said. Attorney at law Diane Jobson, who was said to be representing Linton, commended the police on the professional manner in which they conducted the search. Crystal Brown and Kedisha Lawrence, the 2 women who were taken into custody when Linton was captured, were released by the police. Lawrence and Brown were released following interviews conducted by detectives from the Criminal Investigation Branch. On Tuesday, February 1, 2011, Linton was charged with shooting with intent and illegal possession of a gun. The charges arose from an incident when a police team went into Augusttown, St. Andrew to search for the fugitive and members of his gang. Meanwhile, environmentalist Diane Macaulay, who tried to rescue Linton and his siblings from illiteracy and poverty, has described the accused gangsters' alleged descent into a life of crime as an unspeakable tragedy and declared that society needs to stop pretending that such men are merely irredeemably evil and are simply to be exterminated. At the same time, Macaulay, who said she knew Linton from he was 8 years old, made it absolutely clear that she was not condoning any wrongs he may have committed. However, she asked Jamaicans to examine the reasons for a young man like Linton resorting to the kind of life that placed him on the police most wanted list. By Wednesday, February 16, 2011, Linton was further charged with 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of shooting with intent, 2 counts of illegal possession of guns and ammunition, 1 count of wounding with intent, and 1 count of arson. Linton was remanded in custody when he appeared in the gun court on Friday, February 25, 2011, and ordered to return to court on March 21. Linton's murder case was transferred to the Home Circuit Court so as to eliminate the lengthy and tedious process of preliminary inquiry, which is normally held to determine whether or not the prosecution has sufficient information with which to proceed to trial at the Circuit Court. After having his trial stalled a number of times, Linton was acquitted of gun-related charges in the High Court Division of the Gun Court. Linton was freed on a charge of illegal possession of a gun and illegal possession of ammunition. The gun and ammunition were allegedly found in a refrigerator at a house in Augusttown, St. Andrew, where Linton was held by the police on January 24. The charges arose from an incident when a police team went into Augustown, St. Andrew to search for the fugitive and members of his gang. Police accused Linton of firing at them. The acquittal, however, does not mean that Linton will be set free, as he is to face trial in the Home Circuit Court on January 18 for his alleged role in the killing of a family in Bedward Gardens, Augustown in 2010. Linton has been found guilty of illegal possession of a gun and shooting with intent in court on Monday, February 11, 2013. Linton was arrested and charged for shooting at two policemen who were traveling in a service car in 2010. Indicom in the month of August 2013 opened an investigation into reports that Linton was beaten by security personnel in the Horizon Adult Remand Center. He said he was beaten by a member of the Jamaica Defense Force JDF in his cell because he was throwing water in the passageway in front of his cell.
Those here, officers removed their comrade who has just been doused with a mixture of pieces and water to prevent him from overreacting.
Linton was treated in-house for an injury to the hand. On Friday, March 15, 2013, Linton and co-accused Michael Allen were sentenced to 15 years imprisonment in the gun court. The trial of the reputed gangster Linton and the two men accused of a gruesome triple murder in Bedward Gardens, St. Andrew, collapsed on Thursday, April 27, 2017. Linton's two co-accused, Yannick Ellis and Donald Allen, were freed after prosecutors told a judge in the Home Circuit Court that they were discontinuing the trial against them subject to the availability of witnesses. And the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paw Linton, said that her office was considering its options in the case against Linton, the man believed to be the leader of the Dog Paw gang. Linton and his co-accused have been in custody since 2010 when they were charged with killing 50-year-old Maurice Hilton, 31-year-old Diana Forbes, and her 6-year-old son Jaheim McKay in Bedward Gardens. Tamika Harris and Patrick Peterkin, the attorneys for Ellis and Allen, complained that in the nearly 7 years their clients were in custody, there have been 13 trial dates and not once has the main prosecution witness attended court. Prosecutors reportedly requested another trial date, but Harris insisted that this would make a mockery of the court's mission statement to ensure the timely delivery of justice. In the case of Linton, his attorney said the main prosecution witness attended court once Wednesday when the trial was scheduled to start. Llewellyn revealed that the main prosecution witness in the case against Ellis and Allen sent police investigators a voice note laced with expletives stressing that he did not want to give evidence. He told them that if they tried to find him, they won't, said Llewellyn, the Director of Public Prosecutions. In the case of Linton, she said because of certain sensitivities, the main witness was not taken to court until the case was ready to start. On Wednesday, when the prosecutor was about to start the case, the witness was not answering his phone, and the police could not locate him at the address they have for him, she explained at the time. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily uploads.